Yeah. Okay, so now the recording has been started. All right. So yesterday we were discussing something about introduction to Selenium. What is automation testing? What are Selenium variants? That kind of stuff. We had an introduction to Selenium IDE as well, right? So today we are moving towards the concepts of Java which we need to move to have a smooth transition towards Selenium. Because the very basic stuff which we require to move towards Selenium. So out of those four components which we saw yesterday, okay, there were four components of Selenium which we saw. There was Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, and Selenium Grid. IDE we studied yesterday. Now we are gradually moving towards Selenium WebDriver. But before we move on to Selenium WebDriver, we are going to have the basic stuff of Java. We will study the basic stuff of Java today. Okay, so what are the basic stuff of basic programs which we must understand, what is the basic terminology we must understand before starting with Selenium WebDriver. So today's session, we are going to study basic concepts of Java, or you can say the overview of object-oriented programming concepts. Because OOPS stands for Object-Oriented Programming Concepts. So as we discussed yesterday, Java is divided into two parts. One is core Java and one is advanced Java. We do not touch advanced Java in Selenium. We are just confined to core Java only. Okay, we restrict ourselves to core Java only. By knowing the few of the concepts which we are going to study today, we can easily move to Selenium. Okay, and that is what is required to move to Selenium. So this is what we are going to study today. Object-oriented programming concepts. Okay, so today we'll see overview of object-oriented programming concepts. All right, agenda. So let us first see what we are going to study today. These topics we are going to cover. First of all, we'll see what are classes, what are objects, constructors, and methods. These are the very basic stuff. Okay, you can say that object-oriented programming concept start with these concepts. What are classes, objects, constructors, and methods? All right, so these are the concepts which are required. Now, as we are going to study these concepts of object-oriented programming, let me just make it clear to you, these are not just related to Java. Any programming language which follows the concept of object-oriented programming has all these concepts in common. Their syntax may be different, okay? I'm sorry. The syntax may be different, but the concept remains same, right? But we are going to study it with context to Java. Then we have method overloading. We'll see what method overloading is, inheritance, method overriding, access modifiers, arrays, and loops. Okay. Out of these concepts, your method overloading, inheritance, method overriding, and access modifiers, these concepts are important from interview point of view. We will see what questions can be asked from these topics. We'll discuss it side by side, and I'll also write it on the running notes as well. Okay. But of course they will be required to have the basic understanding of Selenium as well, right? Then we'll move to arrays and loops, quite frequently used concepts. Okay, so this is what we are going to study today. All right, so classes and objects to start with. What are classes and what are objects? If you open any textbook of Java or any of the programming languages which follows the concept of object oriented programming, this is the definition which you are going to find. What are classes and what are objects? So there are some keywords in it. It says a class is a group of objects, okay, group of objects that has common properties. Okay, it is template or blueprint from which objects are created. Very technical language. By just reading this, you do not understand what does it mean, right? What can you figure out of it? No, nothing. Okay, it is very technical language. So let me just read out the definition of object as well, then we'll understand what actually class and object is. Then we'll return to this definition, and then you will see that now this definition makes some sense, right? We'll come back to this one, but let us first read the bookish definition of this object as well. Object, it says, an entity that has state and behavior is known as an object. Right? So this is what bookish definition of class and object is. But to understand this, let us see something else. We'll return to this definition once again. Now, for understanding the concept of classes and objects, I've created a separate PPT. Okay, so that we can understand it by visual means, then you will understand it better. What a class and object is. Okay, so if I show you this picture and I ask you what do you see here, okay, your answer would be it is a car, right? This looks like a car. If I show you this picture, what is this? And if I ask you what is this, you'll quickly say this is BMW car, okay, because you can see the logo here in the on the tailgate. You'll see that this is a BMW car. Perfect. This is what is expected. I show you one more picture, and if I ask you what is this, your answer is going to be this Mercedes car. Yeah, absolutely. This is a Mercedes car. So what difference has come between these two pictures and the first picture? When I showed you this picture, you did not say any name. You just said this is car. But when I showed you this picture, you were quick to say that this is BMW. And when I showed you this picture, you were quick to say this is Mercedes car. Okay. Why didn't you say something about this car? You just said this is a car. Now, when we say this is a car, okay, we are not specifying any particular car. We are talking about a class. Okay, when we speak something about in general, then we are dealing with class. But when we speak something about particular, then we speak about the object. Right? Mercedes or BMW is a particular car. It is not any other car on the road. Right? If I say I have a car, that does not convey the message which car do I have. I simply say I have a car. That doesn't mean I have a BMW or Mercedes. I simply say if I car, that does not clear which car am I speaking about. Okay, but if I say I have a BMW, that means I'm speaking about a specific car. I'm speaking about an object. So object is a specific thing, but class is a general thing. Right? If we are speaking about a group collectively, then we are speaking about class. We are dealing about class with class. But when we speak about something particular, then we are dealing about an object. So this is the difference between class and object. Class is a collective term which we use for a group of objects, but object is a particular thing. Okay. To give you one more example, if I show you this picture, okay, and if I ask you, what do you see here? Your answer would be, it is an aeroplane, right? This is an aeroplane. If I show you the next picture, and if I ask you, what picture is this? What do you see here? Okay, you will say, yeah, this is an aeroplane, but this looks like a passenger aeroplane. How do you know this is a passenger aeroplane? Because we've seen it in TV, or if you have traveled in aeroplanes, you'll be quick to see that these are four engines of the plane. Okay, these are in the passenger aeroplanes. Okay, this looks like, if you have some knowledge about it, these planes, you can say this is Airbus A380. Okay, you're speaking about some particular aeroplane. You're not speaking any other aeroplane. If I say I saw a plane in the sky, it does not convey the message which plane did I see. Okay, I could have seen a jet plane, I could have seen a fighter plane in the sky, or I could have seen a passenger plane in the sky. Okay, until I do not specify which plane did I see, I'm speaking about a class. I'm speaking about planes in general. Okay, so whenever we are speaking something about in general, we are speaking about class. Right? One more picture. Okay, so if I show you this picture, what do you see here? Okay, of course this is again an aeroplane, but this is a smaller aeroplane, but technically this is called as Learjet. What are Learjets? These are personal planes of business tycoons who afford personal planes. Okay, so these are personal planes. These technically these are known as Learjet. So when we speak that this is a Learjet, we are speaking about a particular plane. Alright, we are not speaking any other plane. So here are its engines. These are the two engines which it has. Okay, this is a small aeroplane. We do not require much power or thrust to take off. Right. So this is a Learjet, and when we saw this one, we saw passenger aeroplane. Okay, Airbus A380. So this is when we speak about this is something we are speaking about in particular. We are not speaking about any other plane. But when I showed you this picture, we were saying something about in general, because this looks like an aeroplane. This is a blueprint of aeroplane. This is how you expect an aeroplane look like. But an aeroplane does not look like exactly like this, because here they've just used dots to signify the windows, right? But when we see an actual aeroplane, they are very perfectly finished planes. Okay, swanky aeroplanes, and all this stuff very beautifully designed, and everything is there. So here they're just using dots, so these signify something. They are the blueprint of how an aeroplane will look like. Okay, guys, just 1 minute, give him 1 minute. Just hold on. I'm sorry guys for the disturbance. Right, so when we see, what we see here is, this is a blueprint of aeroplane. This is not an aeroplane, this is just a blueprint of aeroplane. Okay, so when we see a blueprint of aeroplane, a general stuff which we see, okay, we are speaking about a class. Okay, same is this concept here. Okay, but what we see here is, this is how a car is expected to look like. Okay, this is the bonnet, this is the front light, this is the tailgate, this is the tail light. Smoke is coming out of the smoke pipe. All right, so these are the tires. This is how a car is expected to look like, but this is not how an actual car will look like. This is just a blueprint of a car. All right, we do not say this is a BMW or Mercedes or Hyundai or Lexus. No, we do not see, we do not speak, we just say this is a car. So when we speak something about in general, we are speaking about a class, but when we speak about something in particular, we are speaking about an object, right? So this is the difference between class and object. Now let us see the definition again. Let us return to our website, PPT. Okay, let us see this definition again. So it says a class is a group of objects that has common properties. Okay, so what common properties do BMW and Mercedes have? Both the cars have four tires. Both the cars have four windows, four gates. One tailgate is there, one bonnet is there. These are the common properties. Two headlights are there. Okay, so it is a template or blueprint from which the objects are created. Okay, the very first picture which I showed you, that was a template or blueprint of a car, how a car is expected to look like. Okay, when we saw the picture of aeroplane, the cartoon aeroplane, right, that is how a plane is expected to look like. Okay, that was a blueprint or template of the objects which would be created out of it. All right, so now this definition makes some sense. Okay, class is a group of objects. Okay, so it can represent any car. The first picture which I showed you, it is not confined or restricted to only BMW or Mercedes. It represents Toyota, it represents Hyundai, it represents Honda, it represents any other car in the world. Okay, it can be taken for any other car. Okay, BMW and Mercedes are just two examples which I took. Similarly, the plane example which we saw, it was just an example. It can be a military aeroplane, it can be a passenger aeroplane, it can be a personal plane. This is how a plane is actually going to look like. It will have two wings, it will have two or four engines, it will have landing gears, one cockpit would be there. Okay, so this is a blueprint which we have. Now, what is object? Object says it is an entity that has state and behavior, is known as an object. Now, what is state and behavior? Taking the example of the car picture which we saw, what is the state of BMW and Mercedes? Okay, the state of BMW is different from state of Mercedes. What do I mean by that? Shape of Mercedes is different from shape of BMW. Certain places would be there. First of all, the front grille where the logo of BMW or Mercedes is there. Okay, just below the bonnet. Okay, that is a different place. Okay, from that place we judge that this is BMW or Mercedes. The place where the place their logo. All right, so that is the different state. The shape of headlights would be different, the shape of doors would be different, they would have a different design on doors. BMW will have a different design, Mercedes will have a different design. Tailgates would, their tail lights would be different, right? They may also be using different technology. Okay, the engine of BMW might be some 2000 cc, but on Mercedes it might be 2500 cc. So their state is different, right? But their common properties are also there. Both of the cars have four tires, four doors are there, one tailgate is there, two headlights are there. But if we speak about something in particular, when we speak about their state is different, right? And so their behavior is also different. If their state is different, their behavior is also going to different. The noise which is not noise the voice which is produced by the engine of BMW is going to be different from the voice which is produced by Mercedes, because they are using different technologies, right? The intensity of light which is produced by BMW and the intensity of light which is produced by Mercedes, that is also going to be different, because they might be using some different technologies. They might not be using the same technology, right? uh, Engine AC air condition of BMW might be more powerful than Mercedes. Okay, so their behavior is different from each other. So they have their own state and behavior. They have their own existence, right? We can differentiate by just looking at them. Okay, nobody needs to tell us that they do not need to print their names on the car. Okay, by just looking at the shapes and their logo, we can say that this is the BMW and this is Mercedes. So they have their independent state due to their existence. They have their own behavior also, right? So this is what it means. The entity that has state and behavior is known as an object. Okay, class in general doesn't have any state or behavior. It is representing a group of objects. But an object, when we speak about it in particular, it has its own state and behavior. Right? So that is known as an object. All right. Now this definition makes some sense. And for example, if you see, uh, this is what you're going to find in the books: chair, bike, marker, pen, table, car. But car as a whole, you cannot say this is an object. Car is a class, right? So don't get confused but by what people write in the books. Okay, because books, generally what we see in the books, they are copy pasted from some other books, okay, without understanding what do they mean. Okay, but once you understand, when you start implementing the concept, then you understand what actually it means. Okay, you cannot say car is an object, car is a class. Okay, but BMW is an object of class car. Okay, now this is about what are classes and objects. Now what is the terminology used in Java? Okay, let me just create one document, just 1 minute. Okay, on the left hand side I'll write something which we speak about in general English, and on the right hand side I'll speak what we speak in Java terminology, what is its corresponding term in Java. Okay, so general English, Java terminology, so it's equivalent in Java, because these classes and objects are the base of Java. Okay, their basis of object-oriented programming concept. They need to be understood very carefully. Once you understand this one, you will understand all this stuff. Okay, now in general English, I can say Mercedes is a car. Okay, in general English, we would say Mercedes is a car. But in Java terminology, I would say Mercedes is an object. Mercedes is an object of class car. Okay, meaning is same, but the terminology is different. Right? We say in general English, Mercedes is a car, but in Java terminology, we say Mercedes is an object of class car. Right? Meaning is same, only 2-3 words are being added into the sentence. Similarly, I can say I saw a car. Okay, but in Java terminology, What we'll say? Okay, when I say I saw a car, where I'm not specifying which car did I see. Okay, so I'll have to specify here I saw an object of class car. Okay, so when I say I saw an object of class car, I do not specify which object I'm speaking about. Okay, but by just saying this, you can figure it out that what I am speaking about. All right, so this is the terminology which we are going to use. Okay, create an object of class employee, create an object of class organization. So if I say create an object of class employee, what do I mean by that? Recruit an employee into the organization, right? If I say Ajay is an object of class employee, that means Ajay is an employee of the organization. This is how we write in general English. Okay, so whatever we code, okay, your specifications, your requirement will be given to you in general English. You will have to convert it into Java terminology. Okay, so once you understand the Java terminology, coding is not difficult. Okay, coding only becomes difficult when you do not understand the equivalence between general English and your Java terminology. All right, so it is not difficult, very easy. Just we should be knowing it, what is the of equivalence between general English and Java terminology. All right, so there is one more term used here. As we see, Mercedes is an object of class car, we can also say that Mercedes is an instance of class car. Okay, either I say object or I say class, they are one and same thing. Okay, Mercedes is an object of class car or Mercedes is an instance of class car, both mean same thing. There is no difference between them. All right, so this is equivalence in general English and Java terminology. Okay, we'll keep using this table whenever we come across new stuff. All right, general English, Java terminology. All right, so this is class and this is this is the concept of class and object. All right, this is the place from where we start object oriented programming. First we must understand what a class is and what an object is. Okay, so moving on, constructor and method. Now what are constructors and what are method inside Java? It says constructor in Java is a special type of method. Okay, now if we have to understand what special type of method it is, first we must understand what a method is, right? So we'll return back to the definition of constructor, but let us understand what a method is. So it says a method is a set of code which is referred by name and can be called or invoked at any point in a program simply by using the method's name. Again, something very technical jargon has been used in the definition. This is the bookish language. This is a bookish definition. Won't make any sense if you read it like this way. Okay, so now let us understand what a method is. Okay, first we'll understand what a method is. We'll create a corresponding program also in Java. Okay, we'll start with Java with this thing. Okay, and then we'll move on to the concept of constructor. Now to move on to the concept of constructor, we must understand what a method is. Now what a method is, it says a method is a set of code which is referred to by name and can be called at any point in a program simply by utilizing the method's name. Fine, doesn't make any sense. Let us see by way of an example. To give you an example, okay, when to put it in simple English, when do we use method? Method is used in Java when we want to create a functionality which is being repeated again and again. Okay, now what do I mean by functionality and what do I mean by something which is being repeated again and again? Just give me 1 minute. Let me open Eclipse. I hope you have downloaded Eclipse and Java in your systems and you did not find any problem in that. Let it open, we'll discuss. Okay, so as I was saying, what a method is something which is used to implement a functionality which we need again and again. Let it just open. So I'll tell you what do I mean by that. Okay, so this is the screen which you are gonna see when you first open your Eclipse for the first time. Okay, so you can close this one, welcome screen. So these are the 4-5 sections which you will be seeing. You can close all these sections on the right hand side. We do not require them. So what we should be having is, we should be having these 3 sections. The one which says Package Explorer. Okay, this area. Okay, this is the area where we have Package Explorer. Then we have this area, this bigger area. This bigger area is the place where we will be actually writing the code in this big window. In this Package Explorer, what Package Explorer is, this is like the index of a page. Okay, when we open a book, if I want to directly go to chapter 7, I see that chapter 7 is on page number 98. I go there. Okay, so this Package Explorer is like an index. It says, it tells me what all the programs did I create. So it has a list of all the programs in this area. Okay, if I want to open certain program, I can see which all programs have I created up till this point. So a list would be created here. So this is the purpose of having Package Explorer. Okay, Package Explorer means explore your packages. We'll see what packages. In packages we have programs. We'll see what package is. So this is the area, this is the index kind of stuff which we have. And then this small area, this is the area where we will be seeing our output of the code which we have written here. Okay, we will be writing certain lines of code in this area. After we write this, we will be running it, and this is the place where we will be seeing the output. So three areas are required for Java, right? So closing this one. Now to start writing a program, I cannot directly click on this area and start writing program. No, Java does not let me write a program straight away. To write a program here, what do I need to do? There are certain 3-4 steps which I need to perform. What is the first step? Go to your file, go to new, and then click on Java project. Okay, the very first thing which you see in the list, file, new, Java project. Click on this one. Okay, then we have to give certain name to this. So I'm giving it Java Basics because we're going to create programs of basic Java inside this folder. Okay, so just create Java Basics. Before I create this one, I'm going to click cancel on this. Why? I just want to show what is happening in the backend, what is happening in my local machine. When we go to this folder, okay, this is the folder to which my Eclipse is currently pointing to. Okay, if you saw when I opened Eclipse, what happened is I clicked certain folder, Selenium 7. Okay, so this is the folder to which my Eclipse is pointing to. All the files, all the programs which I'm going to create, they will be saved in this folder in my local machine. Okay, now what you see here is some .metadata folder is there. This is something internal which is used by Java. Okay, we are not concerned with this. We should say that this is actually an empty folder. Okay, why empty? Because we haven't created inside this. Metadata is something used by Java, not to be used by us. All right, so this is the folder in my local drive. Now when I create a folder here, go to file, then go to new, then go to Java project. The first thing we have to select, and then I give it a name as Java Basics. Click on enter, or you can click on finish. No need to change anything, just give the name of your project and click on finish. So as it is created, if you go back to your local machine, you see one folder has been created, Java Basics. Okay, corresponding to one project which we have created. Okay, the project which we create here, it is equivalent to creating a folder on my local machine. Okay, project is nothing, just it will have all the stuff, all the programs at one place. That's it. Okay, so now once we have created a program project, right click on this project. Okay, just keep in mind, now we are not again clicking on file. We only clicked on file for the first time. Now when the project has been created, now we right click on the project, not on the file menu. Again go to new, Now you have to select the next thing in the list. What is the next thing? It says project. Project has already been created, okay, because apart from Java project, there are some 2 3 or other kind of projects are there in Eclipse which we can select. Okay, so leave this option because Java project has been created. What's next in the list? The next thing is in the list is package. So click on this package. So we have to create a package also. So what does a package do? Package is going to hold my similar kind of classes at one place. What do I mean by that? Suppose, okay, there's one question by Bindu. Let me see. He says, do we need to give the location where the file should be located? No, no, Bindu. It is not absolutely required. When you install Eclipse for the first time, it will have the default location in your system. Okay, I can change the location where it should be pointing to, where the files should be saved on the system. But if you do not change, there is one default folder in the users document. Okay, all the your default places, all your programs will be saved in your documents. Okay, but if you want to customize it, if you want to change the location of your programs which is being stored in your local system, of course you can change it. I have changed it, okay, because I take other batches as well, so that your programs and their program do not mix. I create separate places. Okay, but if you choose default place, your programs will be stored in the documents. All right, so we've created a package. Now what does a package contain? Package contains my similar kind of objects, similar, not objects, similar kind of classes in one place. What is the purpose of using a package? For example, when you go to a market, okay, suppose you went to departmental store, you bought butter, milk, bread, cheese, and some biscuits also. Okay, and also you bought some detergent and soaps. These 7 things you bought. Okay, when you go to the counter and you pay for all this stuff, what does the shopkeeper do? He puts eatables in one packet and your detergents and soap in separate package. What is the purpose of this? So that the fragrance or smell of detergents doesn't get mixed with the eatables, right? What are we doing? We are putting similar kind of stuff at one place in one package, right? Same is this thing, same is the purpose of using package here in Java also. Okay, package contains all my similar classes in one place. The classes which have certain relation, we'll see how classes have relation to each other. We'll see. For now, you just consider the point that why do we create a package? Because similar kind of classes are put in one package. Other kind of classes will be put in separate packages. Okay, so the classes which are in one package, they're related to each other. Okay, some functionality, some similarity is there between the classes of an object of a package. Now once we have created a package, now right click on this package again, go to new. What is the next thing in the list? The next thing in the list is class. Click on class. All right, now we have to give some name to this class. Okay, whatever class we want to create, we have to give some name, right? So whenever we give some name to the class, okay, it should be some meaningful name. Let's give something like print message. Okay, so do not get confused by this does not represent something in general. Okay, to start with, I'm not bringing that concept into picture, that class should represent something in general. Okay, we are not doing that. We'll move to that concept gradually, but I'm just creating first program which we are going to create, print message. Okay, it should convey the message what this class is going to do. So we just give print message and click on finish. All right, now as you see, I added one print message class. Okay, so this is one question by Bindu. Does the name accept underscore, comma, and spaces? Underscore is acceptable, spaces and comma are not. Okay, underscore you can give. Spaces also not are accepted in names. All right, Bindu? Yeah. So, okay. So as you saw, as soon as I clicked, I created a class something was written in this window, this bigger window, this area. Something has been created for me, right? So what you see here is they've written package demo and public class print message. Okay, so it is telling us that where are we working currently. It is giving us the information. It is saying currently we are working in the demo package. Okay, this is the name of the package which we created, and it wrote something public class print message. For now, just ignore what public and class means. Okay, just focus on the print message. This is the name which we gave. Okay, gradually we'll move on to what this public class means, but not now. Okay, we are not going to discuss. Okay, now our main priority is to see how to start writing a program. All right, how do we start writing a program? So this is what we have created. Now, even now we cannot start writing a program directly. To start writing a program, we have something written as public static void main string args. What does this mean? Public static void main string args. We are also going to ignore this for some time. Okay, we'll see this. Okay, but for just now you must consider that these are the initial stuff which we must have to start writing a program. Okay, this is the stuff required. Okay, we'll gradually move outwards. First we are going to work in this area, the area which is enclosed in the curly brackets. Then we'll gradually move out to this area, public static void main, and out of this we'll move out to this. So we are starting from inside. First we'll understand what we write inside, then we'll gradually move outwards. Okay, so for now what you just consider is whatever we have written up till this point, this is the syntax which must be there to start working with the classes. Okay, now corresponding to this, let us see what changes have been made in my local machine. Just 1 minute. Okay, so this is the Java Basics project which we created. Open this one. Now there are certain folders which have been created. Okay, leave, dot settings and bin go inside this source folder. SRC stands for source. Go inside this one. Okay, you see the package which we created, demo package. Another folder has been created with that name. Okay, so name of the package is demo. If we open this one, we created a class inside this. Okay, corresponding to that, a notepad file has been created and it says type is Java. Okay, why is it saying type is Java? Because if you see, it writes print message dot Java. Okay, so the name of the class with which the file is saved, it is dot Java. Okay, so that is why it is saying it is a dot Java file. If you double click on this, it will open a notepad file and it will have all the stuff which is being written. Okay, so all this stuff which is being written will be saved automatically in the notepad format. I'll show it to you. Once we create a program, all this stuff will be reflecting at this place also. Coming back to our Eclipse. Now, let us see what we write. Okay, I'm going to print a simple message for the first program. Okay, so what message I'm going to print? I will write system.out .println. So what does this system.out.println do? When I use system.out.println, then anything which I write in the double quotes will be printed in this area, in the bottom area. Okay, so system.out.println is a command or a command only. Okay, a command which we write to ask Java to print something on the screen. Suppose I want to write hello, welcome to Selenium class. Okay, now this is a program which we have created. Now if we run this one, if I want to run this one, so from where do we run this? There's one play button here. There's small play button or run button is there. Just click on this one. It will ask you save and launch. Just click on always save resources before launching and click OK. Okay, so what we see here is we are seeing an output here. Hello, welcome to the Selenium class. So this is the place console area where we see the output. Okay, so this is what I meant by saying, okay, that we get the output at this area. Now we've just written one thing. We've written a message. We just wanted to print it. Okay. So this was just to tell you how do we start writing a program. What is the basic stuff required to start writing a program. Okay. So the very first basic stuff, the required stuff which must be there in the program is public static void main must be there. After we write it, we can write anything. Okay. We'll understand what public static void main is, but for now, this must be there. Now, coming back to the concept of methods. What is a method? What does a method do? Now the stuff which we have done here, okay, system.out.println, okay, this is actually we have what we call is we have implemented a functionality. Okay, we have implemented a functionality where some method name is being printed or some message is being printed. Okay, this is known as a functionality. What are the examples of other functionality? Suppose I want to convert the temperature from degree Celsius to degree Fahrenheit. I can write certain logic, okay, to create a program to do something, convert it to that. Okay, some logic I will write, and that is another functionality, right? Other functionality could be, suppose I want to open some website, I want to book a ticket, I can write a logic for that also. That would be another functionality. Okay, so what functionality do we have? Whatever functionality we implement, but that depends upon requirement. Okay, but that the logic which we write, that is known as functionality. Here the functionality is very simple. We are just printing a message. All right. Now suppose I have to print this message 5 times. So what can I do? I can copy this message 5 times, and if I run it, it will print this message 5 times. Okay. There is nothing wrong in this, but this is not a way we write the program. Okay. So here what we see is the functionality is being repeated again and again. 5 times the functionality is being repeated. Now when a functionality is being repeated, we can create a method to implement the functionality. So what do we do in a method? We just write the functionality only once, but we use it multiple times. How do we do that? Let us see. So in this kind of requirement, okay, where we have to implement a functionality multiple times, I'm going to implement this using the concept of methods. Now your method, if you try to understand, you can take an example of doorbell. Okay, if you go to someone's house, you press the doorbell and a sound is produced, right? Whenever you press the doorbell, you only have to push the button and it produces the sound. You do not create the circuit every time you want to produce the sound, right? Nobody creates the electric circuit every time the sound is to be produced, because circuit has already been created. What you need to do is just you need to press the switch. That's it. Okay, so the functionality in case of bell has been implemented in the form of circuit. A circuit has been created. It is placed at some location, and once you press the switch, sound is produced, right? So the functionality here is to create the circuit. Similarly, let us take this example. If I want to use some functionality, what will I do? I will create a method. Method is created in this way: public void. Let us implement the functionality of doorbell only. Okay, we are not going to produce a sound of doorbell. We are going to produce a sound of. We are just going to print a message ding dong. Okay, every time a switch will be pressed, ding dong will be printed. Okay, so let us see what is its equivalent in Java. The example is we press the doorbell, ding dong sound is produced. How do we implement it in Java? Let us see that. Okay, so public void produce, we can say doorbell or sound. Okay, public void sound. Okay, so we are creating a method. This is how we create a method. Public void. Just ignore what public void is. Just focus on the sound. Okay, so when we write sound, that means it is going to do something. Whatever we give the name to a method, that means it is going to do something, and it is followed by 2 round brackets. So 2 round brackets signify that this is going to be a method. Okay, so public void sound, and I write system, so S should be capital, dot out dot println. Okay, so here what functionality should be there? Ding dong should be printed every time the doorbell is pressed. This is the functionality. Now how will we press the doorbell in Java? How do we do it? To press the doorbell, we in actual world we require a switch, right? But to print this message from a method, we require an object in Java. So why do we require an object? Actually, class is like a company. Class is like a factory. It produces the products for its customer. Take the example of Apple. What does Apple do? It creates iPhones, iPads for whom? For its customer. It is not creating it for creating iPhones and iPads for itself. It is creating for customers. So customers are the people who are going to use the iPhones and iPads. Similarly, objects are the things which are going to use the methods inside a class. Class itself does not use its methods or variables. Okay, class is like a factory. It produces something. So what does a class produce? Class produces methods. Okay, so when we write a method, that means we are producing a method. Class is producing a method. Class is acting like a factory. It is similar to Apple. It is creating iPhones and iPads for whom? For customers. In case of Java, who are the customers? Objects are the customers. Only objects can use the methods which we create in class. If I simply write this one, public void sound and system.out.println, it is of no use. You cannot print the method, you cannot print the message ding dong. Okay, to produce a message ding dong, we must have a object to use this. Now, how do we create an object? The syntax for creating an object is, I'm writing it on the running notes. Syntax for creating object. Okay, we write class name, object name is equal to new class name. Okay, so this is the syntax of creating an object. Object name we write to create an object. Okay, so let us write it here. The class name is print message object. So what is the object? In our case, it is going to be the switch. Okay, the switch which we want to press. Switch is the object which we want to create is equal to new print message. Okay, so class object is equal to new class. So why are we getting the error here? It says, just hold on, I made a mistake somewhere. Print message, Control C. Okay, see, why are we getting error here? Switch is actually a keyword here. Okay, switch is a keyword of Java, so we cannot use switch. So instead of switch, let us use button. Okay, now it is fine. Switch is, since keywords cannot be used as user defined variables, so we cannot use them. Okay, so button we can use. So the error is removed now. So we've created an object which is going to use this method. So how this object is going to use this method? We'll be writing it as button dot sound. Okay, so what are we doing here? So when we write button dot sound, what will happen? It is equivalent to pressing the switch of the doorbell. Okay, so what will happen in this case? The control will go from here to here. It will see what sound object is implementing. It will print the ding dong. Let us run this one. Let us see what the output is. Okay, it says ding dong. Okay, so it is equivalent to pressing the doorbell. Now suppose there is some mischievous child who keeps pressing the doorbell again and again till the persons do not come out of the house. So let's press the switch multiple times. Okay, so a mischievous child is pressing the key switch again and again. Now if we run this one, the ding dong sound is being produced multiple times. Okay, now the thing which I want to convey is, the functionality is being used multiple times. Okay, here the functionality is being used multiple times, but we have written or we have implemented it only once. Okay, this has been implemented using the concept of methods. Okay, who is going to use the methods? As I told you, method is always going to be used by objects only, nothing else. If I just simply write this method as it is inside this class, it is of no use. Okay, so when we create a method, one thing, there are two things which should be there. First of all, public static void main must be there, so that we can create an object inside this main method. Objects are always created in main method. So what is the purpose of using main method? Main method is actually the stuff where when we click on this button, when we click on this run button, Java internally looks for where is the main method. Okay, it finds out this is the main method. Inside the main method, it starts execution. It sees, looks for the instruction what is to be done inside main method. Rest of this stuff which we are declaring here and there, they are just the implementation or the products of the class. Java initially is not concerned whatever we have declared. It first, whenever we click on the play button, the control comes here, public static void main. It looks for where public static void main is. Okay, so this is a reserved method. Okay, public static void main should always be there inside Java. So once Java finds out that, okay, so this is the place where public static void main is there, now the control goes here. It says what is being done in the next line. In the next line, an object button is being created. That's fine. Okay, so now the control moves on to the next line. It says what is being done. So this object is calling a method. What we are doing here using dot object, this is known as calling a method or invoking a method. Let me write it here. Calling the method sound. Okay, or we can also say that invoking the method, one and same thing, sound. All right, so calling a method or invoking a method, they mean same thing. So in the real world, what we do, we press a button, but in Java terminology we will say we call the method. So let me write it here. This is a table in which we are writing general English and Java terminology. We press the button, doorbell button or switch to produce sound. In Java terminology, I would say we invoke or call the method to produce the sound. That's it. Okay, so how do we invoke or call a method? Using the dot operator. Button dot sound. Okay, by doing this button dot sound, what is happening here? We are actually calling that method or invoking that method. Okay, so as you can see, this ding dong sound is being produced. We cannot hear this, so we are printing this message in return. Okay, so we have just tweaked it little bit. All right, so this is what a method does. A functionality, when it is required multiple times, we write it once and use it multiple times. So here we are using it. We are pressing the switch multiple times. The sound is being produced multiple times. Okay, so this is what a method does. Okay, so it implements the functionality. It lets us implement the functionality once, which can be used multiple times. So this is a method. Now let us return to the definition of method which we saw. Okay, it says a method is a set of code which is referred to by name. What is the name? In our case, we created the name of the method as sound, and which can be called or invoked. Okay, we use the dot operator to call the method. Okay, button dot sound. This is the way we are calling or invoking the method. So can be called or invoked at any point in a program simply by utilizing the method's name, right? So whenever we are calling that method, how are we calling a method? using the name of the method. Okay, but the one thing which we must keep in mind is the structure of the program which we have created. Main method should be there, public static void must be there, public static void main. Inside this main method we create the objects. Okay, objects must not be created outside this public static void main. We must be created the objects here only, and these objects in turn are going to use the methods. Okay, methods are like the products of a company which are used by the customers. Objects are the customers of the class. All right, so objects are going to use the methods. Only objects can use the methods, nobody else can use them. Okay, class itself does not use them. Factory does not create the product for itself, it creates for customers. Similarly, class does not create methods for itself, it creates them for objects so that objects can use them. All right, so this is the concept of methods. Now coming back to the concept of constructor. What a constructor is? It says constructor in Java is a special type of method that is used to initialize the object. Okay, this is what you're going to find. You're going to find in your bookish terminology, bookish definition. So it says it is a special type of method. So what special is there in constructor? Let us see that. I'll write it here. First, I'll write what conditions must be met to create a constructor. Then I'll tell it. I'll explain what constructor does. Conditions to be met for creating a constructor. Okay. So the first condition is name of the constructor should be same as that of the class. What do I mean by that? As you can see, when we created a method, we wrote public void sound. Sound is some different name. It is not same as print message. But when we want to create a constructor, we are not discussing what a constructor does. I'm just telling you how to create a constructor. We'll look at it after this. Okay, I'm telling you how to create a constructor. To create a constructor, we write the first condition is the name of the constructor should be same as that of class. So what is the name of class? In our case, it is print message. Okay, so this is how a constructor is going to be look like. Print message is exactly same to the name of the class, but it is followed by two brackets. That means it is a method. So it becomes a special type of method. The second condition which must be met is it should not have a return type. Now, what is a return type? These are the two conditions which must be met. So here you can see I did not write public void print message as we wrote public void sound. I did not write public void print message. I simply wrote public print message. So what is return type? Let us understand this, what a return type is. Now let us have some basic mathematics test. I'm going to check your mathematics. What is 4 into 5? You will be quick to say 4 into 5 is 20. Okay. Very easy. 4 into 5 is 20. Now, let's take a difficult test of your mathematics. If I ask you what is 2563 into 8956? What is this? You will say until you do not have any calculator with you. So what will you have? You'll say I'm not sure about what this number is going to be, but what I'm sure is it is going to be a number, right? Of course, this is going to be a certain number. Until we do not use a calculator, we cannot specify what number it is going to be. Okay, so the answer is going to be some number. It cannot be Barack Obama, Shah Rukh Khan, or Aishwarya Rai. right? Its answer is only going to be a number, that is for sure. So when we say its answer is going to be a number, we are actually talking about its return type, or the type of output which we have. So here, let us write it in the Word document which we are using. In general English, we would say the output is going to be a number. But in Java terminology, we will say the return type is going to be int. Okay, so two things have been introduced here. One, this word return type, and the second word is int. So the return type is equivalent to say the output in general English. Okay, so when we say the output is going to be a number, we say the return type is going to be, we do not say number, we say int. So what is int? Int in Java is used to specify numbers. Okay, we'll return to this, just hold on for this for 5 minutes. I'll create one class here, we'll return back to this just for 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to create class here, data types. What I'm going to discuss with you here is data types. This int, what I just told you, int. Suppose I want to store 25 in a variable. Okay, in general English, when we were in primary school or high school, what we used to write x is equal to 25, right? This is how we used to write. But in Java, we cannot write x is equal to 25 simply. In Java, we have to specify what kind of variable x is. So we write int x is equal to 25. That means x is a variable of type int, which is going to store values, numerical values. Okay, so when we say x is of type int, it cannot store my name or something else. It is always going to store numbers only. Similarly, if I suppose I want to store my name in some variable, so how will I store it? We write it as string y is equal to Dipinder. This is my name. Okay, so this y is a variable which is of type string, and it is going to store characters. Okay, certain combination of characters. Instead of Dipinder, if I say, we can also write some sentence also. I can write today is Sunday, right? So we can use a combination of characters also with spaces. Okay, no restriction on spaces whether we have to include or not. Okay, there is no restriction. Similarly, when we have to store some decimal value, suppose I want to store some 3.14 or something, so what do? We write it as double z is equal to 3.145. Okay, whatever the number of values I want to have after decimal place, that is up to me. So here, this x, y, and z, they are known as variables or fields. Okay, so we can write it as x is a field or variable, one and same thing. Right? Similarly, y is a field or variable. Similarly, z is a field or variable. Now, int, string, and double, what we specify here, this int, string, and double, these are known as data types inside Java. Okay, so they signify what kind of variables we are going to store. Okay, we have to specify beforehand in Java. We simply cannot write x is equal to 25 or y is equal to today is Sunday or z is equal to 3.14. No, we have to specify what kind of variable is it, what kind of value is it going to store inside the variable. So int, string, and double, these are the kind of data types which we are going to deal with in Selenium also. Okay, so to store decimal values, we use double. To store numerical values which do not include any decimal, we use int as the data type, and to store combination of characters, we use string as the data type. Now, coming back to the same thing which we were discussing here, this right. Okay, we were discussing that return type, that means the output of multiplication of two numbers is going to be int. So when we say the output is going to be int, that means it is going to be a number. That's it, right? So it is going to be like certain number, some number. All right. Now, if I ask you, who is your favorite actor? Okay, the answers may vary. Someone would say Amitabh Bachchan, Rajnikant, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Surya, Vijay. The names can vary. Okay, but the answer which is going to be there, one thing is for sure, that is going to be some name. Okay, it cannot be like 25, 35 or 100. It is going to be some name. So when I say the output or your answer is going to be some name, I am saying the return type of your answer is going to be string. Okay, so this is what we mean here. I write the answer. Okay, the answer is going to be a name, but in Java terminology we will say the return type is going to be string. Okay, so this is what it means. Return type. Return type signifies the output which we are going to have after certain logic or functionality is implemented. This is what is meant. Alright. Now coming back to the same stuff, what we were discussing about constructor. In the constructor, as I told you, the second condition which must be met is it should not have a return type. So what is return type? There is one more return type called as void. So what is a void return type? Void return type is like at the end of functionality, we're just printing a message. Okay. If I ask you, if I just convey a message, okay guys, bye bye, we'll meet same time, same place next weekend. Okay. I do not expect a reply from you. I do not expect an output from you. It is just a message which is being conveyed to you, an information which is being conveyed to you, and simply an information is being conveyed. Then we say that return type is void. There is no return type. Okay, but if I expect an answer from you, okay, if I ask you how many years of experience do you have, you say I have 5 years of experience. So 5 is your return type. Okay, so you are replying to me with a definite answer. Okay, but if I do not expect a reply from you, I'm just conveying a message to you. That means your return type is void. All right. So this is what void means. If we just printing a message, okay, system.out.println ding dong. This is just a method which is message which is being printed. Okay, so we say the return type is void. If I write something like this, if I write public int sum, I'm not writing public void sum, but I'm writing public int sum. So what does this mean? Public int sum means the return type is going to be int. At the end of something, we would be writing a statement like this one. Return x. Something we'll be writing, but we are not printing the message. Okay. Similarly, if I write public string print name, okay, so I've created a method print name, and if I write return name, so what is happening here? It is going to return a name which is of type string. Now what is meant by returning here inside this method? This return name, when I'm writing this return name, this will be used somewhere else in the program code, but it is not, it will be not visible to humans. This is for internal communication, for establishing internal connections between inside a program. Okay, we'll see that, we'll come to that. Okay, but here I'm just signifying that if I write public int or public string, that means these are going to be the return types. If I write public void print date, okay, so suppose I want to print today's date, so what will happen? In public void we are going to print a message using system.out.println. Okay, now when we say the return type is void, the output will be visible to the humans. Okay, but when we say the return type is string or int, the output will not be visible to humans. That will be used somewhere else in the program. Okay, that is to be used by Java, not for humans. Okay, we'll see that why do we create this type of return types, but for now on you just consider the fact that if we have to make a return type is int, string or void, you must be able to understand the syntax what int, string and void mean. Okay, we are just to discuss what public is, we'll arrive at that point, but for now on you must be able to understand what these syntaxes means. Okay, so public int sum means return type is going to be int, so this x value will be used somewhere in the program, that Java will be using it somewhere inside the program. All right, so this is just, we just discussed how we create a constructor. Now why do we need a constructor? Let us discuss why do we need a constructor, what a constructor does. To give you an example, let me open this one website. Okay, there is one website irctc.co.in which is used to book tickets in Indian Railways. Okay, this is the website created by Indian Railways to book online tickets. Okay, if I log in into this one, I write K6RRM. Let me just write down the captcha. Click on login, and I select from station A to station to book a ticket. Let me just write this one also. Suppose I'm booking a ticket from New Delhi to Chennai, and the date is selected. I select the date to be let us say 23rd April, and I click on submit. I select this train. Suppose I click on this 1A. Okay, now it is showing me the total fare is being shown to me. This place total fare is 5160. As soon as I selected the class to which in which I want to travel, the fare is being shown to me. Who is showing this price to me? Constructor is showing the price to me. Okay, so what is the purpose, what is the function of a constructor? Constructor initializes the object. Now what does this initializing the object mean? This is something very vague. People do not understand what initializing the object means. Initializing the object means assigning an initial value to the object. In our example, at this place, when we are booking a ticket on IRCTC, what is the object? Ticket is the object. Okay, so constructor is assigning an initial price of 5160 to the ticket. Okay, so this is the purpose of creating a constructor. This is what constructor does. Constructor assigns an initial value to the object. Now why do we say initial value? Why don't we say it assigns a value to the object? Why don't we say it assigns a value to the object? Why do we say it assigns an initial value? What is the difference between initial value and value? We say constructor assigns an initial value to the object because this value can be modified at a later stage. How it can be modified? Suppose I select that, yeah, I want to book a ticket inside this. I click on book now. Okay, suppose here it is not available. I book on 24th April. I click on book now. Okay, I'll put my name, age, gender, all that stuff, and if I click on senior citizen, if I'm a senior citizen, I will be given a discount on the initial price. So the initial price which was set by constructor is now being changed. Okay, so the value which was assigned by the constructor initially is going to be changed. Right, so that is why we say constructor assigns an initial value. It may change at a later stage. If I choose I am a senior citizen, then the price will change. Okay, so if I write it in this notepad, just let me just write it down and show you what is happening here. IRCTC example. Okay, book a ticket. Constructor sets the initial price of the ticket from New Delhi to Chennai. Okay, MAS is the station code for Chennai. Okay, so it is being set. What price? Price is equal to 5160 rupees. This is the initial price. This is what we saw in the definition. It says constructor is a special type of method that is used to initialize the object. When we say we are initializing the object, we have to understand it by way of an physical example. Okay, in our case, in our example of IRCTC, what is the object? Object is the ticket which we are booking. Okay, so constructor is assigning a value of 5160 to the ticket which I want to book. It is initializing the object means setting the initial value. Let me write it here because this sentence is not understood by people generally. They just cram it. You should not be cramming it. You should be understanding this stuff. Okay, so initializing the object initializing the object is equal to, that means assigning an initial value to the object. Okay, if you see any definition, they are very technical. If you see the definitions in law, they're very technical. They're very hard to understand by layman. Okay, but if you interpret it in general English, then it becomes very easy. Okay, they say that initializing the object, constructor initializes the object. That is not understandable. We do not understand what initializing the object means, but if we write it assigning an initial value to the object, then it makes some sense. Okay, so here the initial price of the ticket which was set by the constructor was 5160 rupees. Okay, so we can write it as this is the initial price or initial value. If I select I'm a senior citizen, for senior citizens, the price will be discounted. Suppose let us say 10% of discount will be given on this. Math not being that quick, so we can say that 500 rupees 500 discount will be given on this. So 5160 minus 500 rupees will amount to 4660, right? So this will be the price which will be changed. Okay, so the initial value now is being changed. It is not the same price. This is not the same initial value which was set by the constructor. Now the value is changing. We can write value changed. Value changed. Okay, so this is the concept which you must understand, what a constructor does. Okay, it assigns an initial value. It assigns an initial value to the object. Okay, in our case, when we book the ticket on IRCTC, the ticket is the object. Okay, and one value is assigned to it, being assigned to it by whom? Constructor is assigning it. Now let us see how constructor assigns a value. That we understand it functionally. We understood the functionality, what constructor does. Now let us see how it does. We see what it does. Let us see how it does. To understand this, I'm going to give you an example using BlueJ software, which we discussed yesterday. Okay, because it represents all the stuff, all the concepts visually. Okay, you can have a visual interpretation of all objects, sorry, all the concepts, so it is easier for us to understand. Okay, now let us see. Let me just open my BlueJ. Just give me 1 minute. It's opening. Okay, so this is the window kind of which will look like. I assume that all of you have downloaded this BlueJ software, and this is how your screen is gonna look like. Now to start working with this, there is something known as projects which come with it. Okay, where are these projects? Projects are actually the codes which are being given to us. As we discussed yesterday, this book BlueJ plus this software works in the format where the code is given to you. You have to modify the code. In the book they write that this certain places you have to modify the code, right? So to modify the code must be there, right? Where's the code? You have to download certain files. From where can you download it? Go to BlueJ website where we visited yesterday. Okay, just scroll down below, go to this textbook, click on this textbook link. Let it open. Okay, so once this opens, there is one area where it says book projects. It is a zip file of 97 MB, right? Under resources, there is one area where it says book projects. There is one zip file of 97 MB. You can download this one. Okay, not can, you must. I'm sorry to say, you must be downloading this one. So this is the code by downloading which you can start working with the code. Okay, I have already downloaded this one. So how do we open the projects? Once you download this, unzip this one, click on project, click on open recent. Okay, this is something given in form of chapters. Okay, so if I want to open new project, okay, so I've saved it in my local system. You can say it is in the form of chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4. All the chapter wise exercises have been written in the form of projects. So if I open chapter 1, okay, so these are some figures, houses, lab, classes. This is something which is mentioned in the book. You'll get to know what figure means, what houses mean. These are actually classes which they have created. They will ask you open chapter 1, open the project's figures. Okay, open the project figures or open project houses. So instructions have been given how to use this BlueJ software. Okay, so this is how you're gonna look, how it is gonna look like. Now I have opened a project from chapter 2. Okay, this is known as ticket machine project. Now the window which you are seeing here, the box which you are seeing here, they represent a class with a box. Ticket machine is being represented by this box. Okay, so as we discussed, what a class is similar to a factory, right? Factory is producing something. So this ticket machine is a factory which produces ticket machines. Okay, so this ticket machine is a factory producing ticket machines. Okay, you can say, to simplify the process, I can say that if suppose Mercedes launches a car with the name car, same stuff. This ticket machine is a factory creating ticket machines. Okay, actually they should have given some different name. Okay, like company ABC or something name should have been given, but they prefer to give the name ticket machine, which is creating ticket machine. So what are the functionalities of ticket machine? I've read this book, so that's why I know what does this ticket machine do. So this is a factory. As a government representative, suppose there is one railway station in my city and I'm a government representative. I want to install a ticket machine on my railway station where persons come, they enter the station, that is they want to travel from station A to station B. They enter the station A, station B, they put in their money and ticket is printed to them. I want to automate this process. Right now what is happening on my railway station is people are booking tickets manually. They go to a ticket window, they ask to the person that they have to book a ticket. they want to go from station A to B, and this is how the tickets are being dispensed. But this being a manual process, this is taking much time. Now, being a government representative, what I do, I want to automate this process. Okay, I go to a factory which builds ticket machines. Okay, now what are the assumptions which are being made? The assumption which is being made is the train is running between only one station. There is only one combination, that is station A and station B. There is no other combination. The train is moving between station A and station B only. Okay, so it prints only one ticket. This is the assumption which is being made. Now, as a government representative, when I order a ticket machine, how do I order it? Right click on this. I click on new ticket machine. Okay, so as an admin or the government representative, they're asking me what maximum price do you want to set for the tickets which will be dispensed by the ticket machine. Okay, so this is what they are asking here. There, you can see the comment. It says create a machine that issues tickets of the given price. So the given price I can set as an admin. I can set. Suppose I set the maximum price as 400 rupees and click on OK. Okay, now a ticket machine object has been created. Now I can book a ticket. Now this, I will take this ticket machine to my railway station, install it there, and now the people can start booking their tickets automatically. Okay, they will go there, just enter the ticket, sorry, enter the price, put in the price in the ticket machine, and the ticket will be given to them. So this is how it is going to be. Now this is my ticket machine object which has been created. I can take this ticket machine object to my railway station and install it there. Suppose I have installed it. This is my ticket machine. This is my railway station area. Okay, I have installed my ticket machine. Now, as a customer, I will be acting as a customer now. As a customer, I want to book a ticket. How do I book a ticket? Right click on this one. So there are certain methods which are mentioned here. It says get balance, get discounted price for senior citizens, get discounted price for women, something is mentioned here. So all these methods have been mentioned. Okay, so suppose I'm a senior citizen. I want to book a ticket as a senior citizen. First, I want to check what is the price for senior citizen. So I will click on this, get discounted price for senior citizen. Click on this one. It says price for senior citizens is 360 rupees. Okay, because we set the price, maximum price as 400 rupees. Now certain discount is being given to me. You can say 10% discount is being given to me. Okay, close. Suppose I am a woman. I want to check what's the price for ticket for women. I can click get discounted price for women. The price which will be charged from women is 320 rupees. 20% discount is being given to women. All right. If I do not fall under both of these categories, neither am I a senior citizen nor am I a woman. So if I want to book a normal ticket, I want to see what is the price of the ticket. I can click on get undiscounted price. Okay, so the undiscounted price is the 400 rupees. Okay, this is the maximum price which we set. Okay, so this is the maximum price which was set. Now let us see what steps were followed, what happened internally, in the backend. Okay, to see the code how this has been implemented, double click on this ticket machine. Now the code is being displayed to me, how this functionality has been implemented. Let me take you through this. Okay, it says public class ticket machine. This is the place from where it's starting. Just ignore what is written here above. Whatever is written, you can ignore that one. This stuff, okay, you can ignore. Just see, it is starting with public class ticket machine. Okay, this is how we start, right? Ticket machine is the name of the class which is being created. Now after this, they've written something, right? Int price 1, double price 2. Ignore what is private. We are yet to discuss, so ignore for this moment. Okay, it says double price, int price 1, double price 2, double price 3, double balance, all this stuff. So these are the variables which are being declared. How we did it, we wrote int x is equal to something, string y is equal to something. But whenever we declare variables, they are given some meaningful name. Okay, we do not write int x is equal to something, string y is equal to something. This is how we write int price 1 is equal to this, price 2 is equal to this, price 3 is equal to this. So this is how we write it. Okay, so first the variables are being declared, variables or fields, one and same thing. After this, a constructor is being used here. Okay, this is the constructor. It says public ticket machine. You can see its name is same as the name of the class, ticket machine, ticket machine. There is one more thing here. Okay, in the brackets it is writing int max price. Okay, so what is int max price? Max price is a variable of type int. That is one thing. Okay, now what does this mean? Why are we putting int max price in the window in these two brackets? So here the constructor, as I told you, constructor sets the initial value of the object. So here it is asking us what value do you want to set as the initial value. This is how it is setting. First we saw what constructor does. Now we are seeing how constructor does it. Okay, so constructor is doing this using int max price in the window, in the brackets. Okay, so coming back to this point again, let me just tell it to you how we did it. Suppose I want to book another ticket machine. Okay, I want to create another ticket machine. I want to install one more ticket machine. One ticket machine is not capable to handle the rush. I want to install one more ticket machine. So I am going to order one more ticket machine. How do we do it? Right click on this ticket machine factory, click on new ticket machine. Okay, so you see ticket machine int max price. This is the same thing which is written over here, ticket machine int max price. This is what is being shown to me. Okay, I'll show it to you what is happening in the code as well. How is it happening in the code? Just see this one. Okay, so this ticket machine, when I have to set a price, who is asking me this to set the price? Constructor is asking me to set the price. This is the constructor ticket machine, same name as that of the class. So constructor is asking me to set the price of the ticket, maximum price. Okay, so once I put in some value, suppose now I put 500 as the value. So if I put 500 as the value, what you see here is this is the max price. 500 is the max price. Okay, so this is the value which I'll be entering here. Now this max price will be assigned to price 1. Price 1 is the variable. Okay, we declared here. Okay, this max price value 500 will be assigned here, and this will be called as maximum price, which will be called as undiscounted price ticket. All right, now this price 2, which we are writing it as maximum price into 0.9, that means 10% discount is being here given here. Okay, if we multiply something with 0.9 means we are leaving 10% of that. Okay, similarly this is the price 3, we write maximum price into 0.8, so 20% discount is being given here. So this all functionality is being implemented inside a constructor. Constructor does this stuff. Initial values of the objects are being set. Same is the functionality is being used in the IRCTC website. They're using the same logic to set the price. First the maximum price is being set. Okay, as an admin someone set the maximum price to 5,160 rupees. Okay, but if I select that I'm a senior citizen, I would be given a discount using this logic, price to maximum price 0.9. Okay, cancel. Coming back to here. Okay, so here this is the constructor. This is what a constructor do. Now let me show it to you how the code is moving behind. If I want to see how the equivalent code will be, you can click on view and click on show terminal. Okay, so if you see show terminal, when we set the maximum price of the ticket as 400 rupees, this is what went behind in the backend. It wrote ticket machine ticket MA1 is equal to new ticket machine 400. Okay, isn't this similar to what we wrote here? We write class name object name is equal to new class name. So class name is ticket machine, object name is ticket MA1 is equal to new ticket machine. That is the class name. But here, as you can see, I left these brackets blank. There is nothing I'm providing here. But here in the back end, it is taking 400 is the value. This 400 is the value which we set the maximum price. Okay, the maximum value which we set that is being taken here, 400. Right? This is how we initialize the constructor. This is what constructor does. Okay, we are going to use these constructors. Gradually we'll be moving on to this. Okay, but this is what I wanted to show you. What a constructor does, how a constructor does. All right, I suppose this should be clear to you. Just in case you have a doubt, of course you can ask me. Okay, but from here we can move on. So this is what a constructor is and what it does. And this was the discussion about constructor and method. Okay, so we saw what a method does and how a constructor is a special type of method. It initializes the object, that is, it assigns an initial value to the method, to the object. Right? Moving on. Method overloading. This is something important from interview point of view. Now let us discuss what method overloading is. I'm going to create a new package here, new package, and I name it as method overloading. So why did I create a new package? The reason you'll get to know when we discuss something about public, this stuff, public we've written, right? To explain you this concept, I need to create different packages. So gradually we are moving to that direction. So save it. I'm going to close these methods which we created, these programs which we created. Now, so in this method overloading package, I'm going to create a class that is known as, let us call it as calculation or calculator, better. Okay, so inside this calculator, what I want to implement is, I want to create a method inside this calculator class, which when called prints the output in this format. Okay, I want to write it like obj.sum. Okay, why am I writing obj.sum? Obj stands for object.sum. I want to create a method named sum, and as we discussed, only objects can use the methods inside the class. So obj.sum, I want to write something like 6, 9, and it should give me an output like that is equal to 15. Okay, so I just want to create a method where I just supply it with two values, 6 and 9, and it prints me sum of that. So instead of 6 and 9, suppose in the next line if I write obj.sum, I write 7, 8. 7 and 8 is again 15. My quick mathematics skills told me. So if I write 60, 120, again my quick mathematics skills coming into picture, they tell me that it is 180. Okay, so we can do that. Okay, so I want this kind of output should be there. Okay, so to implement this, how do we do this? We write, first of all, as you know, we write a main method. One thing I would like to tell you more. As you can see, as you can guess right by now, we are going to use this main method again and again and again. Okay, so we need to write this public static void main. We need to write it again and again. Okay, now to avoid writing again and again, Java provides a shortcut to us to handle this situation. How can we do this? So instead of writing this public static void main again and again, simply write main and press Control space. Press enter. It writes it for me. Okay, so I write this shortcut on this running notes as well. Okay, so you just write main and press Control plus space. So it writes public static void main, and inside this it writes string args. Okay, so this is a shortcut. Now let us create a method first. Okay, general structure of a class is how a class generally looks like. The general structure of a class is going to be look like this one. general structure of a class. Okay, so first it will be like public class name. Okay, so these curly brackets mark that this is the place from where the class definition is starting, and then this is the place from where the class definition is ending. Okay, and then we will have fields or variables. Then I'll have methods, sorry, constructor. And then we'll have methods. Okay, so this is how a general structure of a class is going to be look like, and in the end we'll have the main method. Okay, so as we can see also in this place also, you can see first in the BlueJ, first they are declaring the variables, then they are writing the constructor, and in the end, if I show you, these are the methods which are being implemented. Okay, this get and discounted price, get discounted and get discounted price for women, get balance. So these are all the methods which have been implemented using certain logic. Okay, we are not looking into logic right now. Okay, so this is the general structure of a class: fields, variables at the top, then constructor, then methods, then main method. Okay, so here also, to keep the thing simple, I'm skipping the fields and constructor part. I'm directly starting from the method part. Okay, the first two things in the list I'm missing. I'm going to start with the methods. So let us create a method. Inside this we write public void sum. Okay, and as I told you, when I call this method or I invoke this method, I want to provide just two numbers, and it should add those two numbers. So here I'm going to write it this way: int a, int b. So what does this mean? This is the definition of this method. Okay, so what we write here is we call it as let me write it here. Definition of method sum. Okay, so what we write here is public void sum int a int b. We are creating a general structure of this method. Okay, we are stating that when this method will be called, it will be provided with two numbers which will be of type int. Okay, a and b stand for two variables. Okay, general numbers which will be used, the value will keep on changing, and they will be of type int. So I will be providing these two numbers, and I want to print the output of these two numbers. Now we write system.out.println to print something, right? So as you can see, system.out.println is to be used again and again. So there is a shortcut for this as well. So we can write sysout and control space. Okay, so this is the shortcut to write system.out.println. I'll write this shortcut in the notepad also. This place, sysout, and then press control plus space. That is equal to system.out.println. Okay, so these are the two shortcuts which we are going to use quite frequently. And what we want to print is, I want to print a plus b. All right, so this is what I want to print. Now, as we know, who is going to use this method? Object is going to use this method, right? So how do we create an object? We create by writing name of the class, calculator, or let us call the object as object only, obj. Okay, obj is equal to new calculator. Spelling mistake, calculator. Now fine. Okay, so we created an object whose name is obj. Okay, now I want to print sum of two numbers. How will I write it? I will write obj dot sum, and here I will write some certain two numbers. Let us write 4, 10. Okay, so if we run this one, we should be getting the output as 14, right? This is what is expected. Now if I call this method again, I'm using this functionality again, obj dot sum. So instead of 4 comma 10, let us write 63 comma 7. Okay, run this one. So now 70 is being printed, right? So the same functionality is being used again and again. We have implemented that functionality by the way of a method, right? Now this is the normal stuff we know. We created a method, we created a main method, inside that we created an object. Now moving on to the concept of method overloading. What is method overloading? If I write public void sum, but wait a minute, okay, why and how Java is allowing me to create a method with same name sum? Because sum has already been created. Why is it letting me to create another method with same name? It should not be. Logically it should not be allowing me, because something which has been created, why is it letting me to create the same thing again? Okay, either I should delete it or I should create a new method with another name. Okay, but it is letting us do it. Okay, suppose I want to print sum of three numbers, so I can write int a, int b, int c. Okay, so here in the first sum method we are summing two numbers, adding two numbers, whereas in this second method we are adding three numbers, int a, int b, int c. But the point here to be noted is their name is same, sum and sum. Okay, this concept where name of the method is same but the number of parameters is different, here it is 2 and here it is 3, number of parameters is different, this is known as method overloading. What is overloading? Same thing which is used again, that is known as overloading. Okay, so what is being used again? Here the method name is being used again, so that is why it is called as method overloading. So here instead of writing system.out.println e plus b, I would be writing it as sysout control space, I would be writing it as a plus b plus c. Okay, so now if the same object which we created now calls the obj.sum with three values, suppose we write 20 comma 10 comma 10. Okay, if we run this one, so 40 is being printed, right? So Java can decide then if two values are being supplied. Okay, let us see how the control will flow initially. When we click on the main when we click on this run button, first Java looks for where the main program is, public static void main. Public static void main is here. Okay, once it finds out it is there, now control goes to the next line. Okay, here the one object is being created whose name is obj, that is also fine. Okay, now this obj is calling a method sum and providing two values 4 and 10. Right, so this 4 and 10, when it encounters this statement, it looks for the place where a method has been declared where two values are being taken as the input. So this is the place, so control comes here, int a, int b. Okay, once the control comes here, it sees what is happening next. Okay, the next thing which is happening here is it is printing these two numbers. That's it. Okay, after it prints the number, the control comes back to the second line. Okay, in the next line, what is happening? Object is calling a method which is again accepting two values. So it looks for the place where there is a method which is expecting two values. It goes back to this place, looks for those two numbers, and okay, replaces this a and b with 63 and 7 and prints the sum as 63 plus 7. Okay, then again the control comes back to the main method to the next line. In the next line it says obj.sum. This object obj is calling a method which is expecting three values, 20, 10 and 10. So these three values, when it is expecting, it looks for the place where a method has been declared with three values, which is accepting three values. Okay, so this is the place which is accepting three values. So it tries some int a, int b, int c, right? So we write system.out.println. This is the functionality which is being implemented. So after running this, control comes here. It says, okay, this marks the end of the main program. Execution stops. So this is how the control flows from one place to another place. All right. Okay. So this place, at this place where we are writing int a and int b, we are writing that it should be expecting two values when it is being called. Int a and a and b are called as formal arguments. Formal arguments a comma b. Okay, but at the time of call, when we write obj.sum 4 comma 10, this is known as actual arguments. 4 comma 10. Similarly, actual arguments 63 comma 7. Okay, so these are the actual arguments. When we call this method, when we provide it with the values, this is known as actual arguments. But when we provide the general syntax, we write the general syntax, this is known as formal arguments. All right. Now this is the concept of method overloading. When a method is being used, the same name is being used for the method, but with different set of parameters. Now to explain it visually, I have one more slide for this to explain it. Just give me 1 minute. This one. Okay. So if I ask someone who is your favorite actor, and he or she replies me with the answer that Bruce is my favorite actor, it can create a confusion in my mind. Are you talking about Bruce Lee or are you talking about Bruce Willis? Right? So until the last name of the person is not specified, there will be confusion in my mind. Which Bruce are you talking about? Okay, because here also you can see Bruce. Just 1 minute. Okay, Bruce and Bruce is same. These initial names are same, but their last names are different. Okay, so their last names are differentiating between these two persons. By just specifying Bruce, I cannot say which Bruce are you talking about, which is your favorite actor. Same is the concept in Java also. Okay, so what is the concept? If you see, here this sum and sum are acting like the first names, Bruce and Bruce, whereas this thing which is written inside these brackets, this is acting like the last names, int a, int b, int c. Okay, these are the last names. So these last names are differentiating these two methods. Okay, people can have same first name, but if their last names are different, we can differentiate between them. All right, so this is how Java allows us to create two methods with same name but different last names. So what is last name inside Java? Number of parameters. Okay, now a question is associated, interview question is associated with the concept of method overloading. What is that question? Let me write it here. Let me just explain it to you from here, and then I'll write the question. They'll ask you, okay, the first question they're going to ask you, what is the concept of method overloading? Okay, you will explain them that, yeah, if you have two methods with same name but different set of parameters, then this is known as method overloading, right? After this, they'll ask you, what if I write it in this way, double A, double B. That is, now the name of the method is same, as well as the number of parameters is also same. Here also it is expecting two values, and here also it is expecting two values. Is it still a case of method overloading? The answer is yes, it is still a case of method overloading. How? Let me show it to you. Okay, and here when we are calling this one, so we'll be calling it in this way, 20.3 comma 5.7, or let's 5.8. Okay, so if we run this one, you'll see the output is being given is 26.1. Okay, though the number of parameters is same, but their data type is different. Here it is double, here it is int. So when the number of parameters is kept same but their data type is changed, it still is a case of method overloading. Okay, so the question which is asked and they'll ask you is, in method overloading, if we keep the number of parameters as same but change their data type, will it be still case of method overloading? The answer to this is yes. Okay, so there's one question from Bindu. It's can we even give string in the? Yes, Bindu, we can give. Okay, the data type must be different. The only thing is, but if we provide the database, here it may not work. Okay, because two numbers of string we cannot. Of course, if we do that, it will concatenate them. We can use them. Okay, though the output may not be what is expected, but we can use them. The important point is, if we want to keep the number of parameters the same, then their data type must be different. We can keep string, we can keep double, but we cannot keep int a, int b again, because it will become exactly same. It should not be exactly same. Okay, we can keep string as well. All right, so this is the question which they're gonna ask. Okay, next question which will be followed to this is, which will be followed by this is, they'll write, okay, they'll ask you int a, I keep this as same, but here I change the return type. Okay, instead of void, I write int as a return type. Will it still be case of method overloading? The answer is no. Here it is not going to be method overloading case, because the only condition which must be met is, first of all, either their parameters should be different. Okay, the thing drains down to only one thing. Okay, the parameters should be different. Either their type is different or their number is different. Okay, either we are using two parameters in one case and three in other, or if we are using two parameters in both the cases, their data type must be different. If we just change the return type of the parameter, return type of the method, then it is not going to be the case of method overloadings. As you can see, it is giving us the errors. Okay, so errors are there. It is writing it with, if you take your pointer here, it will say something, some error message will be given to you. Okay, it's taking some time. Okay, so the question which will be followed is, if we change the return type of the methods but keep the parameters the same, will it be still method overloading? So the answer is no. The reason we saw. Okay, so changing it back to normal, public void int a, int b, int c, and here I will write it as a plus b plus c, and then let me just change it from here as well, so that I bring it back to normal, 20 comma 10 comma 9. Okay, so if we run this one, the output we're getting is fine, perfect. Okay, so here we can end, guys, this session. We'll end this session, and from here we'll continue in the next session. Okay, so if you have guys any doubt, you can ask. Okay, there's one question from Jayas. Will you be, yes, of course, yes, we'll be sharing the videos daily. Whenever we have this session, all the videos will be recorded. They will be uploaded on Hightail. This link will be forwarded to you in another half an hour or 45 minutes. Every time when we have this session, the video will be recorded. This is still being recorded. Okay, this video is being recorded. Uh, in another 45 minutes, you'll receive this one because it changes the format. Right now, it is just recording it. It takes some 30 minutes to change the format of this video to save it in my local system, then I'll upload it. So it takes some 45 minutes to this process. You'll also receive these running notes. Okay, so whatever some important concept will come across, this will also be forwarded to you. All right, anything else guys you want to ask? Okay, I suppose no. All right, so we can wind up the session guys. All right, so bye bye guys, see you next week, okay, next weekend. So bye bye, thank you for attending the class. Good night.